Well, we're gonna start a new series of videos, now focusing on the Traxxas Slash. This is the Platinum Edition. The Platinum Edition came with a, well, I'll actually show. Came with this ESC, which is the VXL 3S, and this is the ESC. You can always tell the 4-pole from the 2-pole. The 2-pole didn't have these capacitors. So that's basically the best way to tell if you have a 2-pole or a 3-pole. I mean 4-pole. 4 poles means you have, instead of just a negative and a north and a south, you have 2 norths and 2 souths. So like I said, if there would be north then south, then north then south, or I don't know exactly how they set it up. So instead of just one magnet, one side over here and one north over on this half and north on his half, you would have north, south, north, south, or some arrangement like that. You can also, this cover that's on this motor comes off just like that. The one thing I don't like about this is it does have a plastic cover. You get to it by, I believe those are 1.5 millimeter Allen wrenches. But as you can see, this body, I was just curious. I prepped the body like, I actually over prepped because I was going to use Rust-Oleum paint. I was told Krylon Fusion wouldn't work, so I just said fuck it, I'll try it. As you see, it worked out horribly. Everything is flaked off, but no big deal. I can clean it up with some paint thinner and repaint it, and all good. And that'll actually give me a chance to I want to do a double stripe down it. So yeah, but this is a Proline Chevy Silverado body. These bodies are a lot stronger than the stock Traxxas body. I also have a J Concepts Flowtech body that I still need to paint, but haven't been racing here lately. So, but with the I have a couple Proline upgrades, and I'll go over that before I get to the actual building of it. Point of this video. The mods I've done to it thus far is I have a FLM center metal aluminum diff cup. I'm not running my center diff right now, so I'm just running my slipper clutch because here lately I've been using it for bashing. I have the Proline screw-on body mounts, so instead of using the body clips, it uses, where are they at? It uses these little caps that screw on like this. And it's a lot better, it's a lot cleaner, and I would suggest, if you're going to buy this setup, get an extra set of caps, paint them orange. You won't lose them as easier. The Platinum does not, the reason it's called the Platinum is it's the exact same as the Ultimate. It has GTR shocks, sway bar kit, LCG chassis, the VXL brushless setup, all that good stuff, but it doesn't come with a radio or battery. And for me, that was actually the best route because it was cheaper than this is basically the Ultimate, except it doesn't come with a radio or a battery. I have a Spectrum DX4S that I use, and it has AVC technology. AVC is the same as TSM, but with AVC, I'll actually show you. See how well this can be seen. Let me turn the contrast up. make sure it can be seen. I may have to do this in a different video. But basically with the AVC, instead of having a single knob to change things, you have okay. Instead of having a single knob to change things like the DX2E, I believe it's called, or the DX2C, that just has a single knob that you turn the the AFC up and down. With this, I can actually, let's go back. I love the fact that you can do everything one-handed with this. There's, all of these switches are dual. They go up and down. So they're two-way switches. You have a variable control knob. You have a switch right here by your thumb, which is also a two-throw. You can go this way or this way. You have a button back here. So there's a lot of things that you can basically change on the fly. The things that you want that you basically mean the most to you when you're driving is you would want to program to switch A and to switch E, I believe it is. Yeah. So, I mean, just with I have small hands, and I can reach with my thumb to the A, and with my thumb when it's resting to the E. And if I have to, while I'm driving, I can just hit any one of these other switches or the knob, and there's a button back here. I have that set up as my timer. And so I'll know about when the batteries are getting dead, because even with low voltage control, I have actually had a this LiPo battery drained to the full voltage of all three cells was 4.2 volts. I was actually able to bring it back alive with a way of charging. You basically charge it under nickel metal hydride mode until it gets to 9 volts, 3 volts per cell, actually a little bit above, so about 9.5 volts, and then you go back under LiPo balance mode and you charge it back up. So I brought this battery back to life, but you have to have a charger that can do that. So with this video, I'm simply going to show how to take off the front and rear sections, which this whole front section comes off, this whole rear section comes off. Very easy to do. Most Traxxas stuff uses either a 2 or 2.5 millimeter, like which parts? Like the smaller screws that the body mount posts, those are 2 millimeter, but all the main screws that hold the chassis in place are 2.5 millimeter. So I'm gonna have to put the extension in the drill. With the slash, you really don't want to tighten with the drill. Tighten by hand. So we're going to start with the rear. I will say the cover is held on with a 2 millimeter screw, so you're going to have to remove that. I'm running another part that's modified is this, which is I'm running the King Heads metal motor mount. Damn, need to focus the camera. The King Heads motor mount. It's metal and it uses a bearing that the ball bearings are actually a little bigger. They make the outer race larger. So, I mean, this is where all the power is at, through this area right here. This is the center drive shaft. And you can actually get rid of this play if you buy an X01 drive shaft. You can cut it down and all this play will be gone. I'm going to do that eventually. But first thing, to take off the rear, this is also how you get to change your slipper clutch to the center diff, which comes with the Ultimate and the Platinum. And then you're going to, there's a screw right here and a screw right here. You're going to want to remove those. Let me make sure I'm getting everything on screen. I need to change my bit. Where did it go? There it is. I believe that's it. Yep. But you're going to have this screw right here you need to take off. So that screws out. I mean, I love how easy it is to rebuild the slash or get to things. It's to take off rear, it's 5 screws. First is the screw that holds on the spur gear cover. And then the 4 mounting screws, and then voila. Your rear assembly is off. Now you can get to your differential in the rear, rebuild it. I still have to get some parts for this. This is still a relatively new vehicle to me. I still need, I'm running the Proline Traxxas suspension kits that widens the suspension. If you're a racer, I highly recommend getting that. I'm a racer, and that has made it so this thing corners like it is on damn rails. With the rear, the sway bar or the roll bar is actually incorporated into it. With the front, you actually have to remove the 2 screws because it's actually connected to the chassis. This is I don't know if I said it, but this is an LCG chassis. And also, this is how you will get to your spur gear. With the Platinum and the Ultimate, you don't have to worry about getting the King Heads metal slipper bearing adapter because it already comes with the metal one. I know some of the slashes comes with a plastic one, and you're definitely going to want to go to the metal one. And to reinstall that, you just got to line everything back up, slide it back in. So that's the rear section. Let's put that back together. Putting it back together, you have to make sure that it just pops into place. You got to spin the front wheels to spin the drive shaft, so the keyway for the differential slides in. And then setting your drill clutch on 1, you're going to want to start the screws. Do not tighten. The X-Max can take it. This, I wouldn't want a chance stripping something out. So, just reverse of what you just did. I'm not tightening them. I'm just starting the screws and then I'll tighten them hand tight. So now I gotta go back into handy dandy parts bag. Yes, I carry pretty much everything I need to work on any RC vehicle. Anytime I take more than one RC vehicle somewhere, I take my entire to-go bag, which has both my transmitters. Eventually everything is going to get changed to Spectrum, but the receivers that I use are $50 a piece, so it takes a little while to... I have 14 vehicles, and thus far I have more than half of them. And I think this has a 30 model memory. The transmitter has a 30 model memory. So that was the rear. I just need to install the spur gear cover so you don't get any crap down in there. It just sort of pops into place, just like that. Change back to a 2mm. This definitely do not even try to go tight with the drill, because you will strip out the holes immediately. With that, I'm going to have to get to all my Allen wrenches. I have a separate bag for that. 2mm. Put it on there and tighten the sucker up. And the front is pretty much the same, but the first thing you have to do is the screws that hold the sway bar in place, also known as a roll bar. It basically, what the sway bar does is makes it so it reduces body roll, side to side roll of the body. Basically, it going this way or this way. You see that these tires are actually coming off the ground when I tilt it this way. If I tilt it this way, those tires come off the ground. There's 3 different stiffnesses. You have soft, medium, and hard. So there's 2 screws that hold the sway bar to the chassis. This is only for the front now. And then once you get those off, back to the drill. And you're going to need the 2.5mm again. And with the front, all the screws are inside. There's one here. There's one here next to the antenna. And then these 2. So remove those. But also you have to remember your bell crank. I have I upgraded to the STRC aluminum LCG bell crank, so I'm not going to loosen it, but you're going to need to turn your tires all the way to the left and unscrew that screw right there, 2mm, and that will be so you can completely take it off. I'm not going to do that because it's too much hassle, but I'm just showing how you will you can remove the front and rear section. Another reason you may want to do this is you can take out the center drive shaft, and you can run it 2-wheel drive. That's why I don't understand why people, I mean, if it's for cost reasons, I understand that, but if you're going to get a Slash and you have $500, always get the 4-wheel drive version with the VXL, because basically a short course truck by design was a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Getting it 2-wheel drive, you're losing a lot of its capabilities. And if you do get a 4-wheel drive, I'll show you. All you got to do is take these 4 screws out. And with this part, to do this, you don't even have to, remove the bell crank. But again, it'll pull free, and then you can pull out your drive shaft, and now you have it. You put it back together, and now you'll have a two-wheel drive vehicle. So you can run the four-wheel drive in both a two-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive class, 1/10 scale. So that's what I like about this setup so well. I mean, the drive shaft is just a splined, hollow aluminum tube. A lot of them have twisted them, broken them. I'm eventually going to get the Techno. That is a dog bone. It's a lot stronger. Yeah, this isn't staying. I remember I did mention that I was going to get rid of that play with the X01, but I actually already had plans to get a Techno. A lot of people ask me, if you want to do all this stuff to your Slash, why didn't you just go ahead and buy a Techno? I enjoy building the vehicles up. That is one of my biggest things with the RCs, is I like to buy one and then build it and put the parts that I want on it, instead of having to go buy some other manufacturers what parts they want on it, and then I have to do that. I mean, I can, like with this, I put the Proline suspension kit on it, the Proline ProTrack to widen the suspension, King Head's motor mount, Proline screw-on body mounts. I'm running a Mamba Max Pro, and at the moment it actually has a 3800 kV motor in it, but I also have a Tekin Pro 4 3400 kV censored motor that I can run with this as well. I prefer the censored over the sensorless, but for general bashing like I'm doing right now, it's been too wet where I live at for racing. I did waterproof the castle, so warranty shot. Really don't care about that. Yes, the warranty is nice, but I want waterproof. But the Castle Mamba Max Pro is a very, very, very good ESC. A lot of people tend to go to the Castle Sidewinder for a Slash. And some people that really want a lot of power go with the Castle Mamba Monster. Well, this is a good middle ground. If you don't want to spend a hell of a lot of money, I get the ESC for $115, and then I buy the motor that I want to go with it. You can get the kit that comes with 3800 kV motor, 4600, 5600, 6600. I do have a vehicle. I did buy one Mamba Max Pro that came with a 7700 kV motor, but that is actually in a on-road car, 4-wheel drive. It's less than 5 pounds, so I can run 3S. They say that you're not supposed to, Traxxas says that you're not supposed to run more than 2S on the 7700 kV motor, but if you do the math, 12.6 volts times 70, it has a max RPM of 100,000 RPM. Well, when running it, oh yeah, these are also, yeah. When running it on a 3S LiPo, it is actually under the 100,000. I will just say it does get hot. I only use 3S for speed runs. That car has gotten over 100 miles per hour several times, and the funny thing is, it is an Exceed Drift Star. I just got a lot of aluminum parts for it, and I modified it. I bulked it up so it could take that. I don't have any telemetry in this vehicle at the moment. I will be getting telemetry in it, the Spectrum telemetry. Right now I'm waiting for my local hobby shop to get the Spectrum DX6S in, which, yeah, that's crazy. 6 channels for a surface radio, but in my opinion, you can never have enough channels. But that's a video of how to remove the rear section of the slash and the front section of the slash. In the next video, I'm going to go over how to bind a Spectrum 4200 series. You got the 4200, 4201, and 4210. This one has a 4201. The difference between the 4200, 4201, 4210 is the 4200 can only be mounted flat. The 4201 can be mounted flat or on any of its sides. So you can mount it like this, vertically instead of horizontally. The 4210 can be mounted in any configuration. And there's also, as soon as you bind it, you have to calibrate it. I'll go over that in the next video. So that's it for this video. Like usual, peace.